Hey, this is C&D Channel. I'm Chris, and this is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for World Series of Fighting 21, Palmer versus Horodecki, which happens on Horodecki, which happens on June 5th. Main card, pretty good. Well, I expect Palmer to really cruise here. Rama versus Ivanov is a good fight. Dawodu, I'd actually say this might be a showcase fight for him. It's an alright card. Disclaimer time with the prelims, unless there's some sort of just like great prospect on the prelims for like Bellator World Series of Fighting cards, I generally don't watch video of the fighters, so they are just pick 'em fights. I'm just basing it on records really. But otherwise, with these prelims in particular, I don't see any, must-see prospects on here, either that I've like heard of, or maybe even just sometimes like, oh, hey, this guy is 5-0, trains at Cerro Longo, and he's only in his 20s. I'm gonna check that guy out, For example, yeah, I'll check something like that out. Or if, like I said, I've heard of the prospect or something like that. But otherwise, did not want to see any of these fighters on the prelim, so those are just going to be pick 'em fights. I did, however, get to see videos of all the main card fighters, so I do make it a point to watch that. Let's get started. So it's main event on NBC Sports. We got Lance Palmer versus Chris Horodecki for the World Series of Fighting featherweight title. Horodecki has a 21-5 record with 1 draw and 1 no contest. 7 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by sub. House has 3 losses by KO TKO. 27 years old. He's going to be a taller fighter at 5'9". Stand-up's good. He has that Tompkins style of like ending every combination with a kick. His grappling is good too, like he can wrestle. He does have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. It's not anything special though. It's not like he's a great wrestler or like this huge danger on the ground, but he knows what he's doing down there. Lance Palmer, 9-1 record, 5 wins by sub, 4 wins by decision, 27 years old. Like I said, he's a shorter fighter at 5'6". He's on a 2-fight win streak, most recently beating Rick Glenn, for the World Series of Fighting featherweight title. He trains out of Team Alpha Male, and he is the current featherweight champion. He's a strong wrestler with really strong top control. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills are good, and his stand-up actually is improving. I actually remember that in the Rick Glenn fight. I was like, hey, I actually expected Glenn to win, and Palmer beat him pretty good, actually. Like I said, I expect Palmer to cruise here. I think he wins this. Tough to say how. I'll go Palmer by decision here. I don't know if he'll get the sub on Horodecki. It's just that or is it Horodecki? I know it's pronounced I'll just say Horodecki. But anyways, I can't see Horodecki defending the takedowns. I can see him on the bottom a lot against Palmer. And striking wise, Horodecki's good at striking, but he's not like, it's probably his strength, but he's not like some super feared striker either. With the threat of the takedown too, I think Palmer might even be able to do pretty well on the feet as well. And Palmer, honestly, the guy's a blue chip prospect. It's kind of funny that they're the same age, but Horodecki's like such a veteran at this point, and Palmer's a prospect. It's kind of crazy how things work, but I'll go with Lance Palmer by decision. Next fight after that, Smealinho Rama fights Blagoi Ivanov for the World Series of Fighting heavyweight title. So in the weigh-ins, apparently Ivanov didn't get to show up because he was stuck in customs. I think the fight is still going on though. So with Ivanov, 11-1 record with 1 no contest, 4 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by sub. He's 20 years old. He's pretty short for heavyweight. He's 5'11". But so is Rama, actually not tall for a heavyweight too. 6 foot. Ivanov last fought in May 2014. He is a Sambo champion. He's probably most well known for beating Fedor Emelianenko in Sambo competition. He's like one of the first guys to do it or something. Best way to describe Ivanov, he has that Sambo style of stand-up. It's kind of reckless, but he does find its mark. Really heavy-handed. His strong offensive takedown ability, but I have to say this, and I'll dwell on it in just a minute. Still really green. Smealinho Rama, 9-1 record, 5 wins by KO, 3 wins by sub, 23 years old. He is, like I said, 6 foot. He's on a 3-fight win streak, most recently beating, Derek Mayman. He's the current World Series of Fighting heavyweight champion. He's actually one of the top heavyweight prospects out there. He's a good wrestler, solid stand-up, pretty heavy-handed as well. He can also grapple. So going back to Ivanov, this is a guy, you can watch his fights against, like LeVar Johnson, right? He got mounted by LeVar Johnson. He's still a guy that goes for some, one of his problems is he goes for high risk, it's like high risk, high reward moves. So it's like, he'll be in like, in a fighter's guard on top, good position, landing ground pound, and go for a leg lock or foot lock, and then he ends up on the bottom. And this guy got mounted by LeVar Johnson because he either went for the leg lock or, I think because he went for the leg lock. He also goes for a lot of head and arm throws, which does work. However, when he fought Volkov, head and arm throw, missed, got his back taken, choked out. He does these things that are still very green, very beginner-ish in a sense of like just a lot of these high risk, it's high reward in the sense that like if he gets a leg lock, he's gonna finish the fight, or like if he gets the throw correct. But like I said, he goes for the more high risk throws, head and arm throws. In MMA, I mean, you see it in women's MMA, and sometimes in men's MMA. You miss a head and arm throw, or like a throw from a headlock position or something, and it's like you just get your back taken, there's too many holes, and Ivanov's gas tank isn't the greatest. It's just, Ivanov can win this. He's really good. I like him. Like I said, he's just a little too green in mixed martial arts. I'm gonna go with Smealinho Rama. Ivanov's tough. I can actually see Rama maybe taking the back and getting a choke. So I'll go Rama by sub. I can just see him get like some sort of dominant position in Ivanov. It might even be by KO or like a TKO, like ground and pound or something. So, tough to say. Method of victory. I see finish, though. I do see finish. It's just how... I'm just coin flipping here. I'll go by sub. Like I said, Rama's a good wrestler. His stand-up solid. It's actually getting better and better. His boxing's just getting a lot better. He's heavy-handed himself. He has a game that's more suited for mixed martial arts. Ivanov, though, like I said, heavy-handed guy. He does have the sambo to fall back on as well. He can lose positions on the ground, though, and I don't like that. Smealinho Rama for the win there. I'll go sub. Kind of guessing on the method, though. Next one, that Mark Drummond fights Michael Hill. So I saw one of Michael Hill's fights. It was, I've got the guy's name. It's not his most recent fight, because he most recently lost to Bristol Moreno. It's the one before that. So Hill has a 7-3 record, 4 wins by KO, 3 wins by decision, 20 years old. He's going to be 6'1". He's actually the shorter fighter, because Mark Drummond's 6'3". What I saw from Hill, I liked his stand-up. He actually used a jab pretty well, has a good left hook. One thing I liked about him, though, was his clinch uppercuts. Those were really good, too. Mark Drummond, 7-2 record, 2 wins by KO TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by submission. 29 years old. He'll be 6'3". He's on a 2-fight win streak. Yeah, despite losing by sub, he's actually a decent grappler, and he's a good grappler. His striking's good too. He actually has a walk-off knee KO in his last fight. This one's hard for me to pick. I've only got to see limited footage of these guys. I saw Drummond. I saw one of his fights against. It's in I think his last loss. He got choked out, and I got to see a highlight of like the walk-off KO he does. So, with that said, I'm gonna go Michael Hill here. Probably by KO or TKO. I like I said, I liked what I saw from a stand-up, but as far as this huge technical analysis, I just can't give one. It's just kind of close to a pick 'em. Like I said, I did see some footage of these guys. But some of the footage from Drummond was him losing in the first round. It's like it's really not much to see. So I gotta go with Michael Hill here. And final fight of the main card, Hakeem Dawodu. I can never pronounce his last name correctly. Fights Chuka Willis. So I actually saw 2 fights of Chuka Willis. He has a 4-0 undefeated record. Same with Hakeem. 1 win by TKO, 1 win by sub. 22 years old. So what I saw from Willis, I like his wrestling. He defended takedowns well. Good offensive takedowns. He was actually hitting the ride position on a lot of opposition. His striking though was pretty raw. I mean, the guy was getting hit clean and hard a couple times. Kind of a single striker, just really raw. Good athlete though. I think there's actually some potential in Chuka Willis. Hakeem Dawodu, I'll say Dawodu. 4-0 undefeated record with all 4 wins by KO or TKO. 23 years old. This guy's Muay Thai is really strong. Last fought Tristan Johnson in a really fun fight. He can defend takedowns really well, and just a good athlete. Heavy-handed too. I've been really impressed with Hakeem Dawodu. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't really pick him. Like I said, though, I do like what I saw out of Chuka Willis. I think that he's only 22. 4-0, 22 years old. He can grapple pretty well, I think there's potential there, but Hakeem Dawodu, really good prospect and one that, should really watch out for. Hakeem Dawodu by KO or TKO. Okay, on to the prelims. These ones will be like before the main card, and then there's some after the main card. Like I said before, I pick 'em fights. I watch no footage of these guys. So, Thiago Goncalves fights Matt Baker. Matt Baker's 12-7 record with 1 no contest. 5 wins by KO TKO, 6 wins by sub. Also has 5 losses by submission, 30 years old. Says he trains out of Pitbull Brothers. And same with Thiago Goncalves, actually. Goncalves has a 17-4 record with 1 no contest. 3 wins by KO TKO, 3 wins by sub, 34 years old. I'll go Thiago Goncalves for the win there. At this point, I really can't say method of victory either. Next fight, that Dan Lariviere fights Mike Scarcello. Scarcello has a 7-3 record with 1 draw, 2 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub, 25 years old on a 4-fight win streak. Lariviere, 4-3 records, 3 wins by sub, 1 win by decision, 32 years old. Got to go with the guy with the winning record, Mike Scarcello, for the win. And then Michael Hay fights Louie Grover. Grover has a 1-2 record, 1 win by sub, 1 loss by TKO, 1 loss by sub. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, and he's never been past the second round. Michael Hay, 1-1 record, 1 sub, 1 loss by KO. He's only 22 years old. Go with guy with the barely better record. Michael Hay for the win there. Okay, and the other fights that will happen, these fights will happen after the main card. Stephen Beaumont fights Jose Rodriguez. Rodriguez has a 7-3 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub, 29 years old. Beaumont, 7-2 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. That's has 2 losses by submission, 30 years old. Pick'em fight, Stephen Beaumont for the win. Next fight after that, Tim Smith fights Spencer Rohovie. Tim Smith, 14-8 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 9 wins by sub. Has 6 losses by KO or TKO and 2 losses by sub. Rohovie, 11-8 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 9 wins by sub. He also has 6 losses by sub. Or Tim Smith has 6 losses by KO or TKO. Rohovie is 28 on a 2-fight losing streak, but he is a finisher. I'll go Tim Smith for the win there. Next fight after that, Hrabec fights Garret Nybakken. Nybakken has a 7-7 record with 1 win by TKO, 5 wins by sub, and 5 losses by submission. He's 34 years old. Hrabec, 3-1 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by decision. He's pretty tall. He's also 6'2". I'll go with Hrabec for the win there. And finally, Roger Alves fights Danny Doig. Doig has a 2-2 record with 1 win by sub, 1 win by decision. Both of his losses are by submission. Roger Alves, 2-1 record, both wins by decision, 30 years old on a 2-fight win streak. I'll go with Roger Alves for the win there. And I guess to recap, the main card of Lance Palmer over Chris Horodecki, Smealinho Rama over Blagoi Ivanov, Michael Hill beating Mark Drummond, and Hakeem Dawodu over Chuka Willis. On the prelims, that will happen before the main card, Thiago Goncalves over Matt Baker, Mike Scarcello over Dan Lariviere, and Michael Hay beating Louie Grover. On the fights that happen after the main card, I have Stephen Beaumont beating Jose Rodriguez, Tim Smith beating Spencer Rohovie, Hrabec beating Garret Nybakken, and Roger Alves over Danny Doig. That's it for my predictions for World Series of Fighting 21, Palmer versus Horodecki. If you have any comments, just leave them below. That's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.